What up, athletes? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're in the national park. This is the national park in Georgetown, Guyana. And what do we have here? This is construction of an exercise block. So they're actually putting in some exercise machines. This, as you can see, is a table and 4 stools. But if you look closely, what you will see is exercise machines. This, for example, is one that you can use for knee lifts or leg lifts, right? For abdominal workout. Here, the machines which I guess you can use for rowing or skiing, right? And you put your feet on the stirrups and you use your arms and legs. Here is another kind of cycling machine, and I asked myself, are these things made of wood? It's actually made of, I think it's made of plastic or metal. Maybe it's decorated with wood or wood veneers. But this is what's happening here in the national park. They're building some exercise pits, exercise blocks. These are new. I see they're building some other structures around the park. I'll take a closer look at those and show you what's new in the national park here in Georgetown, Guyana. I usually run on a road or on a seawall because I get a continuous track of, 5, 10, 15, 20 miles. But from time to time I make a detour here into the national park because it allows me to kind of measure my pace. I can run loops. One loop around the park is about 9/10 of a mile. And so that's what I'm out here doing this morning. But this is what the park looks like in November. Leaves are still on the trees. We don't have fall here. It's not autumn. The temperature is about 75, almost 80 degrees. It's about 6:30, almost 7 in the morning, 7 a.m. And there's a whole lot of excavation and construction work going on. At the entrance, which I didn't show you, but at the entrance they've demolished. So there used to be this stadium. They demolished one of the pavilions, and that house, that building in the center, that's new. They actually put that up in the last 6 months. This is the football field area. So this is the football pitch. But there are a number of pitches around the park. People play, morning. People play football all over the park. It's the #1 game they play out here. I don't know what they're building out here, but they're putting out some earth, excavating and depositing earth, maybe looking to build a foundation. So I guess they're gonna have to resurface the asphalt on this walking track or riding or running track. But it seems as if some amount of work is being done in the park. It's a lot better kept than it was a few years ago when the place would be littered with garbage. They've managed to put these recycling bins, these waste receptacles around the park, and there's now permanent staff that does daily cleanup. So the park is cleaner. It's a good place to come and exercise. And they've installed these screens with information at several locations around the park. That's a picture of the Seven Ponds Place of Heroes, which is in the Botanical Gardens. So this is the national park, guys. This is the national park on a Wednesday morning. in Georgetown. It's rainy season. Rainy season is beginning to approach, so it's kind of starting to rain regularly now. It's rained a little bit every day for the last 3 days somewhere in the city. And during the rainy season, we get enough to flood the park sometimes. I'm gonna have to show you what happens this year because of all the construction around the city. It will be interesting to see how it affects the flooding in the park, because usually in heavy rains this entire park could get flooded, and I think it could probably be worse now than it was the last time I was here last year. There is a manatee pond in the park. I promised to do a bunch of videos that I haven't really gotten around to doing yet. I actually planned a series of videos on where to visit when you come to Guyana, and to actually visit those places and show you little snippets, you know, places in Linden, for example, places in Berbice, places in Essequibo, and here in Georgetown that you must touch, besides, you know, or instead of all those places that people have fond of going, like Kaieteur Falls and Iricrama. If you're a tourist, there are lots of other places you can come and visit morning when you're in Guyana. So I'm going to make that series of videos. I also have a series of videos to make on these hotels, the one at Temeri, and the developments at the new city that they're building, Silica City. So you have to visit that at some point. This is the manatee pond. So there are live manatees in this pond. Don't know where they are now, but I actually catch them some mornings with their snouts up. Let's see if we can spot one. Manatees, for those of you who don't know, it's a sea cow. We call them sea cows in Guyana. But this is the manatee pond here in the park. Let's see. The water is calm and smooth, so no manatee on show today. Sticky mud on the ground. Alright, so this is what's happening here in the national park. And yes, I said I'm going to do a bunch of videos on the mega projects that are being built outside of Georgetown. The road to Rupununi. This is a picture of the road to Rupununi. Rupununi Road towards Lethem from Anai. So these are all projects. That road is still under construction. At some point we're going to make a trip and see what it looks like. Most people still take the ride, the trip to Lethem by aircraft to go out to Ogo, take a plane out to Lethem. Yeah, so I have a bunch of updates to do, and then of course there's the whole topic of what to do in preparation for the Venezuela crisis, which is brewing, and I'm going to address that in a series of videos on, you know, history, because I think to understand that we need to understand, get the background, the political background and the historical background. Somebody had asked me years ago to do a video on the history of politics in Guyana since independence, and I kind of stayed away from it because I thought it would be controversial and everybody would have their own opinion about it. But in fact, there's some items of facts that can be made into a video. This is some of the local footballers practicing this morning. There's some factual items that can be placed into a video, at least incontrovertible. In other words, regardless of how you see the world, these are still facts. So that's what's happening here. Those are the videos that are coming up. This is Carifesta Avenue on Wednesday morning, still early, before 7 It's cloudy, the chance of rain. This is another one of the fields. This one is used for football. It's a multi-purpose field used for football as well as cricket. Sometimes I see people playing out here in cricket. And in the distance, not too distant, with the colorful wall behind that wall, are the tennis courts in the park. Needs some maintenance, but at least they've built the wall around it, and now all they need to do is to maintain the surface and put up some nets. But that's what's happening here, guys. That's what's happening here in this neck of the woods. That's the entrance from Carifesta Avenue. There's a kiddie playground on the other side of this French. That probably needs some TLC work on the fence, probably maintenance, and the upkeep needs to be done.